Hello, everyone. This is Rich Michael Jones, February 27th. So, we're reading in Leviticus, and today God is talking to the Israelites right off the get go and letting them know that they have to follow the laws to move into the new property. You must keep all my decrees and regulations by putting them into practice. Otherwise, the land to which I am bringing you as your new home will vomit you out. Do not live according to the custom of the people I am driving out before you. It is because they do these shameful things that I detest them. But I have promised you, you will possess their land because I will give it to you as your possession, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God who has set you apart from all other people. You must therefore make a distinction between ceremonially unclean and unclean animals, and between clean and unclean birds. You must not defile yourselves by eating any unclean animals, or bird, or creature that scurries along the ground. I have identified them as being unclean for you. You must be holy, because I, the Lord, am holy. I have set you apart from all other people to be my very own. Men and women among you who act as mediums or who consult the spirit of the dead must be put to death by stoning. They are guilty of a capital offense. The Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to the priests, the descendants of Aaron. A priest must not make himself ceremonially unclean by touching the dead body of a relative. The only exceptions are his closest relatives, his mother or father, son or daughter, brother, or his virgin sister who depends on him because she has no husband." But a priest must not defile himself and make himself unclean for someone who is related to him only by marriage. The priest must not shave their heads, or trim their beards, or cut their bodies. They must be set apart as holy to their God, and must never bring shame on the name of God, and they must be holy, for they are the one who presents the special gifts to the Lord, gifts of food for their God. Okay. Priests may not marry a woman defiled by prostitution, and they may not marry a woman who is divorced from her husband, for the priests are set apart as holy to their God. You must treat them as holy because they offer up food to your God. You must consider them holy because I, the Lord, am holy, and I make you holy. If a priest's daughter defiles herself by becoming a prostitute, she also defiles her father's holiness, and she must be burned to death. The high priest has the highest rank of all the priests. The anointing oil has been poured on his head, and he has been ordained to wear the priestly garments. He must never leave his hair uncombed or tear his clothing, and he must not defile himself by going near a dead body. He may not make himself ceremonially unclean, even for his father or mother. He must not defile the sanctuary of his God by leaving it to attend to a dead person, for he has been made holy by the anointing oil of his God, and I am the Lord. The high priest may marry only a virgin. He may not marry a widow or a woman who is divorced or a woman who has defiled herself by prostitution. She must be a virgin from his own clan, so that he will not dishonor his descendants among his clan, for I am the Lord who makes him holy. And then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instruction to Aaron in all future generations. None of your descendants who has any defect will qualify to offer food to his God. No one who has a defect qualifies, whether he is blind, lame, disfigured, disformed, or has a broken foot or arm, or is hunchbacked or dwarfed, or has a defective eye, or skin sores or scabs, damaged testicles. No descendant of Aaron who has a defect may approach the altar to present special gifts to the Lord. Since he has a defect, he may not approach the altar to offer food to his God. However, he may eat from the food offered to God, including the holy offerings and the most holy of offerings. Yet, because of his physical defect, he may not enter the room behind the inner curtain or approach the altar, for this would defile my holy places. I am the Lord who makes them holy. So Moses gave these instructions to Aaron and his sons and to all the Israelites. That's harsh. Straight up, just harsh. Anyway, the Lord said to Moses, tell Aaron and his son to be very careful with the sacred gifts that Israel set apart for me, so they do not bring shame on my holy name. I am the Lord. Give them the following instructions in all future generations. If any of your descendants is ceremonially unclean, when he approaches the sacred offerings that the people of Israel consecrate to the Lord, he must be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. If any of Aaron's descendants has a skin disease or any kind of discharge that makes him ceremonially unclean, he may not eat from the sacred offerings until he has been pronounced clean. He also becomes unclean by touching a corpse, or by having an emission of semen, or by touching a small animal that is unclean, or by touching someone who is ceremonially unclean for any reason. The man who is defiled in any of these ways will remain unclean until evening. He may not eat from the sacred offering until he has bathed himself in water. When the sun goes down, he will be ceremonially clean again, and may eat from the sacred offerings, for this is his food. He may not eat an animal that he has died a natural death, or has been torn apart by wild animals, for this would defile him. I am the Lord. And the priests must follow my instructions carefully, otherwise they will be punished for their sin and will die for violating my instructions. I am the Lord who makes them holy. No one outside the priest's family may eat the sacred offerings. Even guests and hired workers in a priest's home are not allowed to eat them. However, if the priest buys a slave for himself, the slave may eat from the sacred offerings, and if his slaves have children, they may also share his food. If a priest's daughter marries someone outside of the priestly family, she may no longer eat the sacred offerings, but if she becomes a widow or divorced and has no children to support her, and she returns to live in her father's home, as in her youth, she may eat her father's food again. Otherwise, no one outside a priest's family may eat the sacred offerings. And any such person who eats the sacred offerings without realizing it must pay the priest for the amount eaten plus an additional 20%. The priest must not let the Israelites defile the sacred offerings through brought to the Lord by allowing unauthorized people to eat them. This would bring guilt upon the required them to pay compensation. I am the Lord who makes them holy. That's the end of the first read. That's you know, those rules seem to kind of weave in and out. Some are harsher than others. Uh, anyway, that's Leviticus. Those are some rules. I'm going to take a break before I go into the second part.